If you've practiced Hapkido for any amount of time, not to mention a number of other martial arts, you've probably heard a lot about the circle. Your instructor may have explained the advantages that circular motion presents when in combat, or you may have seen it for yourself in a self-defense demonstration. The truth is, the circle is a focal point in aspects beyond combat, and to us as more than martial artists, but simply as human beings. But let's first talk about those aspects in combat. Hapkido is usually considered a soft style art, though it can use hard style techniques as well, which nothing is absolute, right? Everything should be able to pull from multiple styles in order to be more complete, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, you can simplify things by generally viewing circular movements as more soft, whereas straight and direct techniques are, quote, hard style. The principles of Hapkido, in the realm of self-defense, rely and focus on redirecting instead of blocking attacks. The way my grandmaster put it in his book, you can view Hapkido as a defender adding their strength to their opponents, rather than opposing it head-on. Again, in simple terms, this is done by meeting an opponent's push with a pull of your own, and vice versa. A drill I like to show beginners to understand circular movement is to have two practitioners grab each other at the wrists or forearms, and having them one at a time draw a backward circle with their outer leg, which essentially has them trade positions with their opponent, as the opponent is forced to move by centrifugal force. The point I like to make here is that the movement is not reliant on the strength or weight of the person initiating the movement, but rather the weight of the person standing still, which is extremely key. The potential of these Hapkido techniques, when done properly, always depends on how hard the opponent is throwing techniques, not how strong you are as a defender. This kind of auto-extrapolates your techniques to be stronger on bigger opponents without you having to change anything. This would be a lot easier to explain if I had someone else to film with. Thanks, COVID. Also, it is generally easier to block oncoming strikes using a circular movement, a redirection, than a standard hardstyle block. It can also usually help you set up whatever you're moving into next, without having to stop and start. The fluidity of these soft movements gives you the advantage to move into a counter or escape with relative ease. So all of that is probably the main material you'll learn with the Way of the Circle. So what else is there to cover? Hopefully something else you would have learned in Hapkido is the danjun breathing, which you may hear called circular breathing. This is another important application of the circle you will use in martial arts, but ideally in your everyday life. The reason it's called circular breathing is because you are taught to slow down your breathing substantially while moving energy circularly through your body. As opposed to breathing linearly and quickly in and out of your lungs, you imagine inhaling through the nose, taking it up through your head and all the way down deep into your diaphragm, and then back out through the mouth, thus completing the circle. I have some videos on this if you want more information. What else is circular? We've talked physically, but let's get philosophical for a moment. Life is circular if you think about it. How many times have you heard the term life cycle or circle of life? Even just in martial arts, you start as a beginner student and may eventually become a teacher someday, and your students start at the same beginning of the circle that you once did. The difference is you try to smooth out the areas that you may not have done properly the first time around, as all teachers should strive to make their students better than themselves by using the lessons learned from mistakes along the way. But all life is cyclical, where our society constantly evolves, trying to right wrongs from before so that hopefully the next generation can advance and live a better life than the one before it. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. There's no way to maintain, as we are all constantly in motion, so we can choose to adapt and keep up or be left behind. My ultimate goal is to relate the principles of martial arts to real life, so I hope covering these aspects can at the very least inspire your mind to think more deeply. To me, Hapkido is a pair of prescription glasses, which enhances your view of your environment, putting yourself and those around you in perspective, and realizing we all have an important role to play in making the environment in which we live better. Whatever martial art you practice, or if you're just watching this for fun, just make sure that you're doing something you enjoy, and that it's something that causes you to think more positively instead of negatively. Thanks for watching.